Hi, welcome to the second episode of Forewarned Is Forearmed. Today, I'll show you exactly how I fell into a depressive cycle. And as much as I like to think that I'm pretty special and unique, apparently I'm not. According to the psychiatrist who saw me, the way I fell into depression was textbook, a classic case. Wait, are you sure I'm not special? Are you sure? Nope, not in the slightest. But it does mean that what happened to me can happen to anyone. So, in this episode, I'm going to travel down that road again. Come with me and see exactly how it happens and what you need to watch out for. But fair warning, this journey is going to be full of distressing scenes, sensitive topics, and some strong language. Brace yourself, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Hi, I'm Shun. I'm not a doctor and I'm not an actor. I'm just a bald guy who's been through some stuff. So, continuing from last episode, how on earth was it possible for that stupid little fall to send me spiraling into a clinical depression? As I mentioned, I was put up for promotion. This was huge. Forget the title, forget the increased responsibility. It was that step jump in pay that would improve our lives. As part of the process, I had to undergo an assessment. Unfortunately, during one of the assessment exercises, I slipped and broke my knee and had to undergo emergency surgery. On the face of it, the operation went really well. The doctors assured me that I would make a full recovery. After just 6 weeks, I was back in the office. And because this was a workplace accident, I was assigned an occupational health doctor. Ha! Occupational health. I'm not that stupid. You don't care about me. You're just there to protect my employers and make sure I don't abuse the sick pay. Hey, what can I say? I'm a deeply suspicious person. But having said that, that really is part of their job. Anyway, back in the office, I wasn't the same. I wasn't as sharp as before, and I was always one step behind. And even though I was following all the prescribed rehab, my knee still hurt a lot. Physically and mentally, I was struggling. A sick day here, sick day there, and I waved goodbye to that promotion. Come on, Shun, pull yourself together. Time to make a new start. You're okay now. The worst is behind you. Forget it ever happened. But there's that little voice inside telling you that something is wrong. Something isn't right. You're sad. You want to cry. But crying doesn't help. Crying won't restore your career. Crying won't wipe out those last 9 months. Don't embarrass yourself. People will think you're weak. Your wife will think you're weak. You will lose all respect. You're strong. Yeah. Man up. Yeah. Snap out of it. Come on. Think positive. Be positive. No negativity. You the man. Hey, Mac, how are you? Fantastic. Never better. Heard you were in an accident. Nothing serious. Just a flesh wound. I just needed a break. I'm fully recovered and I still have a leg to stand on. Yeah, that's right. Make it into a joke. Make people laugh. Keep smiling. Keep laughing. Keep going. Keep pushing. But I'm tired. No, you're not. I'm so tired. What is wrong with me? Come on. People recover from far worse injuries than this. Why can't I? Why am I being so weak? Come on, snap out of it. God, if only I didn't go on that stupid course. If only I didn't fall. Why did this have to happen? Why me? When is this going to stop? Can't take this anymore. I need to get away from everything, from everyone. I need this to stop. I'll make this stop. Stop! So I told my wife I was planning on taking some unpaid leave. But before bringing that up with my employers, she absolutely insisted that I speak it over with occupational health. Fine. Keep her happy. I made an appointment. My appointment started as they always do. The doctor greeted me. He always does. How are you, Mac? I'm great. Never better. Fully recovered and all that. Everything is fantastic. But just to let you know, I'm going to take 3 months unpaid leave. Okay, that's an interesting plan. Tell me, how are you really? What? I said I'm fine. Then why do you want to take 3 months leave? Because I want to. It's unpaid. What's your problem? What are you planning on doing during your time off? Does it matter what I do? I just want to take some time off. That's all. You still haven't answered what you're planning to do. Now I'm going to ask you again, how are you really? For God's sake, I told you I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. No, you're not fine. You're far from it. But it's unpaid. Now answer me honestly. Have you thought about killing yourself? Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Come on. I couldn't answer him. I broke. I just sat there crying. The doctor was saying something, but I couldn't hear him anymore. It was like a floodgate had opened. I finally allowed myself the release, to feel, to admit, to not have to hide anymore. Once I finally stopped crying, Gavin apologized. He said that he had to break me down like that. It was the only way to make me realize that something was seriously wrong. For months he had tried to get through to me, but I was so resistant that he had to take that sledgehammer to get through. It was the same for my wife, Christine. She knew I was descending, but wasn't able to get through that thick skull of mine. That's why she forced me to speak to occupational health when I told her I wanted to take time off. It would have been extremely dangerous for me to have gone through with my plan. I would have been alone. I would have lost myself. I could have easily done something very stupid. At the end of the session, Gavin and I actually had a bit of a laugh. Apparently, I'm one of the most stubborn patients he's ever had. As much as it's his job to stop people from abusing sick pay, it's also his job to make sure people get the help they need. I was wrong. He wasn't just there to protect my employer, he was also there to protect me. I didn't get to go on unpaid leave, but I was put on medical leave and referred to a psychiatrist. So shout out to Dr. Gavin Webb Wilson. Thank you, Gavin. Whew! That was intense. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm fine. Really, I'm okay. I'm okay, he says as he's wiping away his tears and snot. It's cool. I'm going to wash these later. Don't worry. But seriously, please don't worry. I'm actually fine. Really, I am. But if that's the case, what the hell was that about? Surely it's not normal to break down like that. And you're right, that wasn't normal. But going through what I did means that I will never be normal again. So, I really will wash this. But if you think about it, it's actually not that surprising. Take my knee, for example. After all those operations, I don't have a normal knee. I avoid stairs like the plague. Well, should that be COVID? I avoid stairs like COVID, and I have been given strict instructions by my knee doctor not to run. But I do. I'm at the point where keeping my lungs strong and being able to breathe is more important than any knee damage I might do. Plus, I really have to lose this pot belly of mine. For my lungs, well, they are now a breeding ground for all sorts of weird and wonderful bacteria. So I avoid people who are tiny, teeny bit sick, or when I'm a teeny, tiny bit sick, even if it means cancelling at the very last minute. And for my mind, well, it's the same. Mental wounds are the same as physical wounds. Do enough damage and you won't go back to the way you used to be. For any experience you go through, you create thoughts, memories, and emotions. The more you replay them in your mind, the stronger they become. The more you feed them, the brighter they become. Feed them enough and they become permanently etched in you. As I sit here right now, I know those thoughts I had are wrong. I know that. But when I replay them in my mind, I feel everything again. And even though it all happened over a decade ago, when I walk down that path, the feelings are just as strong and consuming. Those thought patterns are now a part of me. And if I'm not careful, a few whispered words here, a few stray thoughts there, and I send myself spiraling back down. So, just as I avoid stairs and sick people, I'm really careful of what I allow up here. Sorry. Sometimes I think about adding this to my CV. Is able to become depressed at a moment's notice. But sadly, there's not much demand for that. But perhaps you're shooting a music video or a movie and you have this really emotional scene of a middle-aged man crying, then do you know what? Give me a shout. You've seen what I can do. I'm your guy. No, I'm joking. I cannot do that again. Just as how I would be in a world of pain if I ran a marathon or if someone sneezed in my face, I'm going to have to pay for taking that trip down memory lane. It's going to take me a little bit of time to recover, but don't worry, I will be back for the next episode to show you how to get out of it. But we're not going to end it here for today because I still haven't addressed the elephant in the room. Quick flashback. I can't take this anymore. I want this to stop. I'm going to make this stop. And what's the easiest way to do that? Why? It's suicide, of course. Wait, what? Did he just say the S word? You fucking bet I did. Sorry. Hey, I did say there'll be some strong language. Yes, I'm going to talk about suicide. Suicide is such a hard topic to talk about. As someone who's had these thoughts, it's not something I'm proud of. There's so much shame and guilt that it's just so much easier to pretend it didn't happen. For people on the outside, I can see why it's so hard to understand. I mean, how bad does something have to be for you to even think about taking your own life? God forbid, had I gone through and done something stupid, people would look in and wonder, what on earth happened? So he fell over and had to have an operation. So he didn't get promoted. So what? Lots of people don't. And there's always next year. No way you kill yourself over something like that. I know he must have had an undiagnosed mental issue to begin with. That's the only way it makes sense. I can categorically say that prior to the fall, I did not have any mental issues. And before anyone says it, being a bit of an arsehole is not a mental condition. It wasn't that I just woke up one morning and thought to myself, life isn't worth it anymore. I'm ready for it to end. It wasn't like that. It was the small steps that got me there. The anger at the situation, the disappointment of what I lost out on and what it meant for the future, the shame of not being able to cope, of being a weak crybaby, the desperate attempts to make some sense of it. Why? Why did this have to happen? Why me? Wishing the past would change. If only I had done this. If only I had done that. If only this didn't happen. Like I said at the start, I'm not special. I'm not unique. I'm sure that everyone at some point in their lives has gone through something similar. Each one of those steps won't kill you, but taken together and for long enough, it leads you down that very dark path. And because I repressed it, kept it bottled up. It consumed me. It took over completely. I couldn't think rationally anymore. All I wanted to do was for it to stop, whichever way I could. Like I said in the last episode, and I'll say it again, if you ever get to that point, or if you are there now, then you have to open up. You have to talk. Talk to someone you trust, a family member, a friend. Don't have someone you can talk to? Then Google it. Because let's face it, if that's where you are now, then it would have taken you some time to get there. And your strategy of repressing it and trying to cope by yourself hasn't worked. If it was going to work, it would have happened already, and you won't be where you are. You have to talk. You have to open up. You have to acknowledge that you have a problem. But let me say this to you right now. Suicide is not the answer. Suicide is never the answer, because once it's done, it's game over, man. It's game over. If someone has wronged you, then you lose all chance of getting justice. If you have wronged someone, then you lose your chance of making amends, even if it takes you the rest of your life. If you suffer an injury or a setback, then you lose your chance of healing, of recovering and moving forward. You lose everything. Your enemies won't care. They'll probably laugh. And the only people that you hurt are those who love you. We are all going to die someday. I promise you that. So don't rush it. Fix it in your mind right now that suicide is not an option. Take it off the table, because once you do, it forces your brain to seek out new options, better options. Don't want to feel this way anymore? Can't keep living like this? Good. Then let's climb back out. Join me for the next and final episode where I'll show you how. But that really is it for today. But before you go, I know that this episode has been somewhat emotional. So to lighten the mood, I have a link to another video, a challenge, if you will. Don't worry, I promise, no clowns this time. I'll see you very soon. Bye.